Hey guys, we're back. It's Josh, aka Cronin, and Andy, aka Montolio, and we are here for an exciting round 6 in the CQ Invitational number 2. And we have got PlanetWalls with his big blue control versus the Wolf on Affinity. Exciting match here, Josh.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We got our top two guys here, both at 15 points in the league.
That's right, sitting 5-0 right now.
Yep, so they are both definitely in, but they're playing it out here, so...
Well, I know we talked about this a little bit on the podcast the other day, but what are your thoughts on this match just outright?
I looked a little more at PlanetWalls' deck, and I just don't see how he can possibly win quickly enough.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, part of the problem with control decks in general is that those are the decks that thrive for Affinity. I mean, Affinity just belches its whole hand out, and of course, you don't have that many counters. You've got to be judicious with what you're countering. So, I suspect it's going to be quite difficult for PlanetWalls to gain control of this board.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a quick way to win like a Tinker or something like that.
Yeah, and another thing, looking at the board right now here, it looks like the Wolf had the first turn, which I suspect is critical in this match for PlanetWalls.
Yeah, pretty underwhelming first turn for Affinity, though.
Absolutely, and that's a pretty nice play for PlanetWalls, getting some ramp there in the Sol Ring. Question is he going to get hit with a Revoker here?
It's definitely a possibility. There's tangle wires to deal with.
Yeah. Well, I don't think tangle wire would be too much of a problem for PlanetWalls at this juncture in the game because he still has a mitt full of counter magic. Sure. Oh, this is going to get countered, especially with 2 mana still floating in the Wolf's the mana pool here. Still cast out a pretty significant creature like an Overseer, a Revoker, Ravager, a couple Pestermites. Or not Pestermites, I always call them Sigil Pests.
Signal Pest.
Signal Pest, Sigil Pest, Pestermite. I mean, they're all pests and mites, and they all are crappy cards, so...
Sure. Yeah, what's the point of learning the name? We want this deck out of here.
Yeah. The slime of the classic community. Affinity. So I think PlanetWalls is really pondering this one over here. I'm not sure why. Because to me it just seems like an auto counter, and he obviously has a counter if he's thinking this hard about it.
Yeah. It's tough because it looks like he's kind of being baited to see if he'll counter this, but it also, I don't see how he wins if he doesn't counter it, so.
That's it. I mean, he's definitely being baited, obviously. I mean, the question is if he doesn't counter that and that gets down and the Wolf does play another creature, that doesn't bode well for him.
Yeah.
And he had to actually pitch a Fencer, which is really too bad because with another blue mana here, he could actually flashed in Fencer and bounce something back and blocked another creature potentially.
Yeah.
And so the Wolf didn't actually play anything.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So he was fishing. Ooh.
Well, that's a good guy to have always.
Oh my goodness, that's an excellent card for PlanetWalls here. Jeez. You brainstorm here, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because Signal Pest doesn't attack for anything on his own.
So this is about as bad as a start as I've ever seen Affinity have, actually. And to be facing down a turn 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor, my goodness, that's really tough for Affinity when you only have one creature on the table that doesn't deal any damage to it.
And PlanetWalls is only 2 mana away from Frost Titan.
Well, I'll tell you, if he drops a Frost Titan here, I would pretty much say that that's a lock. Because I don't see how Affinity would deal with Frost Titan.
Just with a million creatures, I guess.
Yeah, when you have a start like the Wolf has had with Affinity here, it makes Frost Titan all that much more feasible looking.
Yep.
We talked about it the other day in this matchup. 6 casting cost creature is just terrible against Affinity. But when Affinity's that slow, when you got a Sol Ring on your side, it makes Frost Titan look a lot better.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but whenever I get myself something like a Sol Ring out on the table or a Jace the Mind Sculptor or something like that out against Affinity, there's always a Revoker coming the other way. Every single time. Yeah, that's...
So, this is not very good for PlanetWalls.
My question is why did he use the memory jar?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why wait till the next turn?
Maybe he's hoping that some of the cards put back on top with Jace's Brainstorm were something that were things that PlanetWalls wanted, but...
Yeah, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely. I don't know. I would usually wait for mana.
Workshop. Well, a couple Mem Knights help. Alright, so Workshop? Lodestone?
Oh, has he played a land this turn? Maybe he hasn't played a land.
No, he hasn't.
Okay.
But even still, it seems way more powerful if you had all your mana. Well, there you go. Okay. Good game.
He's dumped his entire hand, so...
Yeah. That's got to be game. Three mana to boot. Ravager. Overseer. Oh, too bad. Too bad he didn't have that before the 2 Mem Knights came out.
Yeah, he must have drawn that off the Skull Clamp activation.
One more Skull Clamp activation to go here. I don't know about you, Josh, but this game's pretty much locked up.
It is an interesting look at sequencing in that turn right there, considering what you just said. Because he doesn't have to play out both Mem Knights.
Well, he would, Josh, he wouldn't have had the...
I guess his Cradle. He needed to power up his Cradle, too.
Well, that, and he wouldn't have had the Token Creator. Otherwise, he would have played that first.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, he obviously drew it off his first Skull Clamping of the first Mem Knight. But he didn't necessarily need the second Mem Knight on the table already. Because they both came out post Memory Jar. So he could have held one.
Not following you, but I'll take your word for it.
Oh my god, it's so simple.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. For the viewers, I am calling this one Affinity. I'm giving this one to the Affinity.
Yeah, we're not going to see a Vault Key right here. And that's about what it would take at this point.
Well, I don't even believe PlanetWalls runs Vault.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he just doesn't have those kind of
outs.
Yeah.
It's actually a little bit surprising that he's not running the Vault Key. I guess he doesn't really have any tutors in his deck other than Jace and Brainstorm to dig.
You can Trinket Mage for the key.
Yeah, you can. Normally in the big blues, you see things like Tezzeret in there.
Yeah.
He doesn't run Tez, which I think would be at least a good one-off in his deck.
Yeah, especially because he sort of uses Trinket Mage as with a tutor package in there, and Tezzeret can kind of do the same thing for him. And with 4 mana drains as it is.
Excellent ramp.
Yeah.
You know, one of the cards that I think I'm most excited to see in PlanetWalls deck that used to be an old favorite of mine was Venser, Shaper Savant. I really used to enjoy that combo of Caracas and Venser.
Just bouncing permanents.
Yeah, you can block her up. You know, you can block something and bounce something at the same time and return it back to your hand, and that's a pretty potent combo. Particularly if you had something like a Cavern of Souls or something on human.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I've played it, but I used to like that and the Vendilion Click, so it's kind of cool to see it in the deck again. I mean, of course, Vendilion and Caracas is far more common.
And Venzer's cool, but, you know, it's still 4 mana for that effect, so that's kind of...
Well, he fights Jace for those spots.
Yeah. You'd always just choose Jace.
Oh, for sure. So, looks like the wolf here is...
There's a mana drain on a Frogmite.
Oh, that's so bad. But I guess if he has a Frost Titan,
yeah,
it can help ramp it out.
Gets him 4 mana. But
he's going to be overwhelmed here, though, but before he gets... I mean, the wolf has probably 10 mana going here.
Yeah, and he's probably
the
dead
Skull
this
Plant.
turn.
It's pretty much over. I mean, he's going to be facing an overwhelming board.
Jace is dead this turn if the wolf so chooses, or possibly PlanetWalls is dead this turn. You never know.
Well, I'm not sure how PlanetWalls would be dead this turn.
With Ravager.
Yes, Ravager could do it for sure. That's a good point.
I mean, with this much mana, the Skull Clamp's going to get up to some insane shenanigans.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, look at he's still got that Gaia's Cradle untapped.
Yeah, and he hasn't played a Tolarian Academy yet this game or a land this turn, so you can easily find an Academy and just go through his entire deck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is not good. Well, that's what Affinity does. It just eats you up.
It's interesting that he sacked those tokens before tapping his Cradle there.
Yeah. He's still got a boatload of mana here.
Yeah, more than enough.
Mana. And he hasn't actually played a land this turn either.
No.
So he's digging for that Academy.
There it is.
Oh my goodness.
15 blue.
This is how you get through your deck very quickly.
Yeah.
That is his third Lodestone Golem this turn.
He's past half his deck now.
Just insane. I mean, even if PlanetWalls does get to untap here, which he's obviously not going to get to untap, there's nothing he can do, even if he did get to untap. I guess he could have something like an Engineered Explosives.
But it wouldn't do much.
No, it wouldn't do much at all. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's futile. There we go. Got a GG there. It took a while for AJ to come to terms with that one. I don't blame him one bit. So here we are in game 2. The Wolf took down game 1 rather convincingly.
And now PlanetWalls gets to be on the play, which is certainly helpful, but as slow a start as that was from Affinity, it might not matter.
No. I mean, PlanetWalls needs to have another hand like he did the first game on the play. Because he had an amazing opener with a Sol Ring. And then turn 2 into a Jace the Mind Sculptor. So PlanetWalls leads out with an island, and Sensei is divining top. And the Wolf is thinking long and hard here about his opening play. How about Mishra's Workshop? Oh, strip mine. That's actually a pretty good play.
Sensei Top's a little slow in this matchup.
Oh, for sure. You don't want to be tinkering around looking for stuff. But the fact that AJ mulliganed down to 6 cards, it's not a bad bet to strip mine his land turn 1.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you can put him on a 20-turn clock with that Mem Knight.
Yeah. So, lots of deep thinking going here, and the Wolf has let out a Wasteland into a Mana Vault. From looking at the Wolf's hand, this looks like a rather suspect hand that the Wolf has held.
Yeah, I would counter that Mana Vault probably.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's clearly indicative that he's got no ramp playing a Wasteland first, so. Maybe AJ's a little bit more scared of a Lodestone Golem or something like that at this stage.
I guess. It's strange he didn't even play anything with that Mana Vault.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel, but I don't feel like I usually get this kind of a start out of Affinity.
No, never. Never. I have single-handedly taken more losses to Affinity than anybody on the face of this earth. Turn 2, you're dead. I'm just kidding. I'm not that bad, but I hear what you're saying. Usually I don't get cut any breaks at all when I play Affinity. It's just extremely quick. And this is, it looks, I mean, the Wolf has had 2 quite slow starts for Affinity.
AJ does have mana drain, mana up, so maybe that's his play here.
Well, mana drain would be excellent here. Oh dear, okay. Oh, that's a good one. The question is, does he counter this? I don't think he has any choice. And again, he didn't counter anything earlier when he still had 3 mana. He didn't have anything to play. I mean, the Wolf.
Yeah. The difficult thing is this puts him at 3 artifacts, so gets him into Frog Knight territory and everything.
Yeah. And I mean, if he uses that Mana Vault, it doesn't. Well, he would have to tap down what 1, 2, 3. Yeah. No, this is definitely not good for AJ. He's got to counter that. Tangle Wire just wins games.
And the Wolf is running 4 of them, I think, so.
Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the Wolf was the first one to come out with that tack, or at least that I've ever seen. And I followed very quickly after putting Tangle Wires into my Affinity build because the card is that good. It's naturally made for a fast deck like Affinity.
That's an annul.
Great sideboard card.
There's the Golem.
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure which one was the better one to annul there. I mean, looking at hindsight's everything, but I would have much rather been facing a Tangle Wire.
Yeah.
And a Lodestone Golem, particularly if the Wolf doesn't play land here. But you just can't you just can't let a Tangle Wire resolve, particularly when he didn't play a creature the turn before with 3 mana up.
Yeah, if he would have just had 2 cards in hand, I might have let the Tangle Wire through, but he was still sitting there with a mitt full of cards, and
yeah, this is an extremely dire situation for AJ here. A Lodestone Golem is extremely problematic. I'm not quite sure how he answers a Lodestone at this stage. He's nowhere near the mana for Frost Titan.
yikes.
Yeah, you have to counter that. Skull Clamp is the card that makes this deck tick. Yep. Not good, folks.
I would think this would spell doom pretty shortly here.
Oh, yeah. It's like you're walking through the mines of Moria and the Balrog's coming towards you. Doom. Doom.
Oh my god.
Holy catfish, folks. Scary beans.
What are you even on about?
Josh, just learn your lore. Now, so we've got Tangle Wire, we've got a Skull Clamp, we've got a Lodestone Golem, now a Mox Opal with 2 cards in hand. Now we've got a Signal Pest. And
That's
so not to activate the Skull Clamp, it looks like.
there has to be something good here, I would think, or
Well, he's on a 2-turn clock.
Hercule's Recall, maybe?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Sort of. Just as like a fog here, basically.
Yeah, he's just going to belch it out again the next turn. And he gets to reset the Tangle Wire. There it is.
Oh man, look at that art.
Yeah, look at those borders, though.
It's true.
Out of all the foils I've never been able to suck it up and buy foil Hercule Recall because it's one of the ugliest cards I've ever seen online, and I just won't do it. It's a thing of principle.
Yeah, I never got them either, and now they're super pricey, and
They've always been pricey.
they were like 10 tickets for a while.
Foil Hercule's Recalls?
Yeah.
No. Maybe when the set 10 first came out and people didn't understand the value of them, they're pretty rare. I've always seen them up at around $25, $35, somewhere in that vicinity over the last couple of years. So if you can ever find one for 10, I will buy it.
Okay.
For the way that card friggin' looks at $25, $35, forget it.
I'll get in my time machine and see what I can do.
But Josh, I greatly appreciate that. That's why I deem you friend.
Yep.
So, looks like this did not slow the wolf down at all. As advertised, he's putting his hand right back out. And he's going to have a reset Tangle Wire as well, which pretty much, AJ's got 2 cards in hand. You can't let that Tangle Wire resolve, and you certainly can't let Lodestone Golem resolve, so it's an awkward position. Because he's only got 5 permanents over there, and 4 of them are going to be tapped down next turn, which is not good when you're at 10 life. I think the writing's on the wall, Josh.
Maybe he's got a Snapcaster Mage and he can... Oh, but I guess Lodestone...
Okay, so there he goes. That's actually a fantastic card for AJ to counter there. The question is what does he have in his hand and those top 3 cards in his library?
Yeah.
I didn't foresee the mana drain coming, but that was a pretty good one to counter.
He has to be sure to crack his Delta here.
Oh no, he can just tap the Delta down. Because he'll still have 6 mana, enough to cast a Frost Titan.
Yeah, but it'd be wastelanded.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Evidently, that is not the plan.
Yeah, that's problematic. Ew. Hey, that's a good card. The 2 life really hurt though.
Yeah.
Personal Legionnaire is pretty solid in this match.
Might have been better to mana drain the Tangle Wire and use the Legionnaire against the Lodestone.
Yeah. Wonder if he had it in hand though.
Maybe not, yeah.
I don't think he did. No way of knowing for sure. But...
Because as we discussed on the podcast, Legionnaire will block a Lodestone all day long.
Yeah, sure does. I flirted with the idea of trying Porcelain Legionnaires in my stacks builds. When the fish were running about, figured that was a pretty good alternative. So he set that Engineered Explosives at 1.
Yep.
Which really doesn't do much. He gets past Termite. I guess he has a Skull Clamp in hand as well.
Blows up that Mana Vault, but that Mana Vault's not doing anything.
No, well, he'll be able to untap that relatively easily.
Blows up the Sensi Top.
Not if he returns it back to his hand, but he kind of needs it to tap down.
Yep.
So looks like the wolf is highlighting his Tangle Wire, his Mox Opal, and his Pestermite here. I wouldn't be surprised, Josh, to see him just play that Skull Clamp out and try and get into a bunch of card draw.
Yeah, I agree. PlanetWalls has 0 cards in hand right now.
Yeah.
They just go nuts.
Yeah, it's questionable as to whether it's right to play the Skull Clamp here. I think he does have to, because otherwise PlanetWalls can just sit back on that Explosives. Well, that's actually not true, because his mana is going to be tapped down half of it. Okay. So he's got the Skull Clamp out there. Mana Crypt, which sacrifices nicely to Ravager.
And he did wasteland that Delta, so I think that was an error to not... I don't know if he has another basic island. I assume he does, because he's almost all blue.
Oh, you're absolutely right on that. He should have sacked that.
The biggest problem with it is that it is 1 less permanent he can tap.
Which is the difference between life and death quite often. Not good here for AJ.
And Serenity.
AJ run Serenity?
No.
He does have a white mana source, though.
That's just for building up Engineered Explosives, I think.
Yeah, he's got a Caracas and he's got a Tundra. I mean, Engineered Explosives would be relatively decent, I would think.
Yeah, he's got an underground C as well, so he can.
Yeah. Sunburst is E.
Yep.
So there goes the Vault. Pumping up his Ravager, which I believe is a 3/3 now. And there goes the Mana Crypt, making it a 4/4.
No, it's just a 3/3.
Oh, is it? Okay. Another nice little combo there with the Tangle Wire, too. When the Tangle Wire's expired, stack that to the Ravager, too.
Yep.
Although I like it better with a Goblin Builder.
Well,
When the Tangle Wire expires.
sure, everyone likes that.
Well,
Unless they're playing against it.
just making a factual statement, Josh.
So PlanetWalls, is he dead this turn? He might be.
Ooh. That takes away his engineered explosives, I would gather. Actually, you know what? I think the Sensei Divining Top is probably a bigger threat here. Because that he doesn't do anything except get a Skull Clamp. I mean, he's going to be dead. Actually doesn't even get a Skull Clamp because the sacrifice Skull Clamp with the effect on the stack.
Yeah.
This is over.
But it's lethal already, isn't it?
3, 4, 5. Yes, it absolutely is. Unless he's got an Into the Royal.
Or another Hercules.
Okay. Oh, this is over then. He's dead. Right here.
Yep.
Because the Overseer pumps up to a 4/4, he sacks the Overseer 5/5, sacks the Skull Clamp 6/6, sacks the Tangle Wire and the Mox Opal. And that's game.
Alright, so there's the top two guys.
There it is. It's over. We just see
The Wolf.
GG here.
The Wolf goes undefeated through Swiss.
Good work to both you guys. Small task going 5-0 and now 6-0 for the Wolf. And see you guys in the top 8.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Talk to you soon.